Good morning and welcome to YCS Bochum 1951. Wait a second. I mixed up the numbers. It's 2018. 1951 is actually the number of players we're having this weekend. This makes it the largest European event of all time. Can you imagine, guys?
I was completely confused when you said 1950 when I was like, what? What's going on? Is this another joke about how many Bochums we've had?
No, yeah. We're going to have that one later. So yesterday we had 960-something players signing up. So usually you're expecting something like 200, 300 players signing up the next day, maybe 400. But just as many showed up today, and now we have like double the number of the pre-registration yesterday, 951. It's absolutely amazing. So we have a gigantic venue, and it's basically all the seats are taken.
Yeah.
We had to move players outside. There was no more space. And then we have to move players
outside the main stage. Outside. It's too cold.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's an incentive to win.
Yeah.
You get to come inside the building.
Then they had to open like yet another part of that venue to seat even more players. It's absolutely crazy. It's going to be such a massive event this weekend.
Yeah, it is really insane.
So, guys, my name is Oliver German. I'm going to be your host for the weekend. I'm joined by Luke Withington.
Hey, guys.
Always a pleasure. And for the first time ever at a YCS, we got Thomas Rose.
Hello. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Thomas is going to be the guy who's going to be able to figure out all the amazing plays that players are about to make. He's going to see all the options. No pressure. And we're going to try and bring you guys some perspective over the course of this massive tournament. We're going to have 8 rounds today. Hopefully. It's going to be hard to fit in that many rounds in one day with so many players and all the delays in between rounds. 3 more rounds tomorrow, and then the cut to top 32. Funny story about that. Judges are always guessing the number of players. One judge was just like chokingly saying 2049 because that is the number when we have even more rounds, when we have to have the top 64. And he just did it just to be funny. And he won the judge competition of who guessed the correct number because he's the closest to the final number. All right, for our first round feature match, I think you can give us a bit of a story because you said Jörg Müller is playing an interesting deck.
Yeah, out of all of the players that were here, it just happened to be that these two titans were playing against each other. So Jörg Müller, he came up to me just at the start of the event. You know, many people come up to me, oh, can we have a feature match? Can we have a feature match? Jörg Müller, he approached it in the best kind of way. He said, "Look, I'm playing Herald of Perfection."
Oh, so this is very humble.
I was like, sorry, what? You know, sometimes I'm like, I must be misheard what Jörg said. You know, what do you say again? Yeah, like Herald of Perfection with Cyber Angels and Necros, and I was like, what? Really?
Sounds good.
And yeah, you know Jörg. He's very, very calm,
he's
very collected,
very humble.
Yeah, and I was like, oh well, maybe we should get you on the feature match. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, wow.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, okay. And then, so yeah, we decided to go with him because we don't have our previous year's winner here, Billy Break. So we needed to pick somebody new. Billy, you should have been here. And we happened to get Eugen Heidt.
Eugen Heidt is the one. Out of what are the odds?
Yeah, that's crazy. And he is
Eugen's also playing something crazy.
Yeah, not quite as crazy as Herald of Perfection, but he's certainly playing something that people aren't necessarily expecting, which, yeah, it's just.
Let's not bury the lead. It's Paleozoic frogs.
Yeah. I couldn't remember how to pronounce the word Paleozoic for a second. That's what happened. I was like, trap card deck. That's what he's playing. Anyway, yeah. So Paleozoic frogs, and yeah, this deck. When we had the new master rule come in, it seemed really kind of lackluster because you couldn't make all the nodes and then continue to make a totally awesome, which was always a pretty big play in the deck
I heard
previously.
It's a good play,
but now. Yeah, they now have Mistar Boy, which completely kind of mitigates that. But
so normally we sat down players yesterday to talk about how the matchup is going to go. I don't think we had anybody talking about this particular matchup.
No, absolutely not.
So I think you have to fill in for us.
Well, Paleozoics have really fallen under the radar quite a lot recently. So particularly before the most recent Forbidden Limited list, we saw Spiral on top of things. And with 3 Spiral Resort, trap cards that target your opponent's monsters were not the way to go about trying to win.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Spirals have now fallen out of favor a bit. You can't do the same combos with using the master plan to search another resort because you only have a single copy.
Right.
So now that targeting cards are back at the forefront of the game, you can play a deck like Paleozoic, and it can steal wins off the powerhouses that we're expecting to see.
Nice. And what do you make of the odds for Jörg here in this particular matchup?
I'm not particularly familiar with all of the Cyber Angel cards. I know Ben 10, but there's some other cards here that I'm going to have a quick look and
Sure.
check that I know what they all do.
So we're going to have
I'm a fan of decks that don't let your opponent play the game. So hopefully I should be able to help with some of those.
And nobody wants to be your opponent then.
No,
All right,
absolutely
guys. We're going to have more for you later on with stats and everything, but let's not hold you guys back any longer. Let's go to the feature match table and get our game on in round 1 of YCS Bochum. So here you have Jörg to the left in the red zone. On the right you have Eugen, Heidt. Both of these guys definitely have massive win percentages. I mean, both of these guys have been able to make it to the World Championship before, and you need to be a pretty good player to do that. And how important is the die roll in this particular match? Is it in somebody's favor to go first?
Absolutely. Both players will definitely want to be going first.
Yep.
The Paleozoic deck based all around trap cards, so obviously they need to be set before they can be used. And the Herald of Perfection isn't going to be negating anything before it's summoned. So
that's a good point.
It's really critical who gets to win this die roll, and if they can establish their board with negations and interactions before the other player even has a chance to play a card.
All right. So you see our volunteers entering the cards into our app so we can show you guys. Here you see Eugen on the right-hand side. This is his opening hand. 2 copies of Pot of Desires, 2 copies of Swap Frog. Maybe you should have shuffled his deck before he sleeved up. And then a Torrential Tribute. On the other side, we see Jörg's hand, a preparation of rights together with the pre-preparation of rights. That's a combo if I've ever seen one. Second copy of that card, Mystical Shine Ball and Terraforming. I wouldn't say those are the ideal starting hands.
Absolutely not. But this is perfect for the Paleozoic Frog player. So he's got Swap Frog and a Water Monster in his opening hand. We see neither of these decks playing any hand traps, so he'll be able to first turn summon the Totally Awesome, have that negation, get the advantage train rolling before Jörg even gets to play his first card.
That's going to be interesting. What do you make of the metagame choice for these guys? Do you think that Paleozoic is well positioned in this particular field this weekend?
Paleozoic's in an interesting place. As I say,
like
not playing hand traps,
Mm-hmm.
puts it in a very difficult position in a format where an FTK exists. He might struggle if he's playing against that matchup and he doesn't win the die roll. But if he is able to go first, you can set up so many pieces of interaction just with every single trap card. Very powerful cards like Torrential Tribute completely wipe the board, and you can just force someone to pass their turn without really achieving anything.
Now, it's going to be very interesting to see how Eugen is going to do over the course of the weekend, not just in round 1, of course.
So yeah, so we have the stats for the 2 players here. So this may not necessarily be all of the tournaments since Utrecht, but it's as many as we could get our hands on. Eugen is at a 64% win rate. He's played a lot of regionals and obviously the YCSs as well.
He's on the grind. He wants to have those points.
Yeah, he's aiming for the World Championships this year. And Jörg not played so much at all. He played during Prague and that's it. So his win rate is not not very representative.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. All right. So Eugen is pretty much done with his turn.
Yeah.
4 face downs.
That's a pretty decent number of back rows.
So we have a Torrential Tribute there. We have obviously a couple of Paleozoic cards. Needle Sealing as well. Don't see that very often.
Yeah. Jörg was telling me that his only normal summon is actually the Agent of Creation Venus. Well, he says normal summon. He's Mystical Shine Ball normal summon as well. But so he's done pretty well to have that in his opening hand because that alone is going to be able to cause some problems.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Where is Jörg gonna go after this? Okay, start for Eugen. Definitely could have gone much worse for him.
Yeah, I definitely think that Jörg's got enough here to be able to ritual summon this turn.
It all will come down to where the Totally Awesome effect gets used. So there's one big negation that will negate any activation, and if you can shut something down at the right time, particularly if there's only going to be access to a single copy of the ritual spell, then that can cause problems. But with preparation and pre-prep in hand, it seems likely that Jörg will be able to battle through and get something out.
And Eugen, this must be terrible.
He just looked so confused.
Yeah, Eugen is like, I did not test for this. Why are you doing this to me? I thought I was well prepared for this tournament.
Yeah, and even if Eugen decides that the negating the Herald of Perfection is the most important thing, then Jörg will just summon Venus and be able to do a bunch of link plays anyway. But you know, he does have stuff like Canadia and Torrential Tribute that is going to help him here, but we'll see. Eugen is not going to have any idea exactly where to stop Jörg playing.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where you need to make the read during the game.
Yeah.
Which is really where you see the difference in between skill levels of players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a guy like Joshua Schmidt, okay, I bring that name up a lot, but he's always able to adapt his strategy while the game is underway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have some players that do really well, and then they play against the rogue deck, and you can tell the confusion is like written all over their face.
Yeah.
So let's see, what would you say, Tom? When is the correct moment for Eugen to like pull the trigger, basically?
It depends on what he expects to see in the hand of Jörg. So I expect that Eugen will know exactly what all of these cards do for the most part. But just because you know what they do doesn't mean that you know how this particular deck plays out, because it's certainly not something that you, as you say, you will have been testing against. And so you can get completely caught out by thinking that it might be a deck that is absolutely hardline on Summon the Herald of Perfection and then see a Venus come down afterwards, and you have no idea what to do about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are some powerful trap cards sat behind the Toad. So particularly with Needle Sealing and we saw Torrential Tribute being set, he can be fairly trigger happy with activating the effect of Toad, because it's quite likely that the Toad isn't going to live the turn anyway, so he wants to get good use out of that effect before he starts using those board clearing trap cards.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was two choices that Jörg could have made here, and he knows the deck better than I do, but the two choices were to go in with the Venus straight away, and then likely that was going to be either Canadiad or the Toad. Obviously, Jörg doesn't know that what the trap cards are back there. Or doing this line of play that he is doing, which is trying to get the Ritual Summon out first. Then that's the usage of the Toad, done there. Then he can try and resolve the Venus. But I do think that Eugen does actually have enough to stop Jörg here.
A very interesting match. Not going the way we could have predicted, I guess.
Yeah.
It's interesting here that we've seen Eugen opt to use the effect of Toad tributing his Dupe Frog. So Dupe Frog has an effect that is when it's sent to the graveyard, you can search, which means, as we know, that those sort of effects can miss the timing. If it's tributed for the effect of Toad, it will miss the timing. Typically, players tend to tribute the Totally Awesome and leave the Dupe Frog on the field in the hope that it will be destroyed as Chainlink 1 and you'll be able to get that search. It definitely seems a strange decision when he's sitting on those trap cards that will completely clear out the board.
Yeah. So he saw the Necros of Bryanak being added there, and the other effect of Preparation of Rites is to be able to get back a ritual spell from your graveyard, and he gets the Herald ritual spell back. So he is able to plant the Herald of Perfection onto the field here. And yeah,
nice little combo.
Another thing we see is Christia. Christia is just so strong.
How is this deck faring against somebody with a lot of hand traps?
I think it's not too big of a deal, because there's no, apart from Ash being able to stop the Preparation of Rites, there's no real big hand trap that stops Herald of Perfection. You can always negate. It's a multi-trigger effect, so you can you can negate as much as you want, as long as you got the ammo for to discard.
Okay.
This is so cool that he's using the Necros engine as well. Huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, fanboying out a little bit.
Yeah, I love the Necros. I love Necros, so this is perfect.
This is funny also. Like, this is something that you can say again nowadays.
Yeah.
Like when Necros was the #1 deck, everybody was like disagreeing with you. How can you love that deck? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Now it's fair to love again.
I loved it right from the get-go.
Yeah,
so.
there is a time for everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Even love for Necros.
Yeah.
All right, so Jörg keeps going.
Yeah, so he's going to use Cycle to get back the Bryanak. One of the least used effects is Bryanak's on-field effect. Generally, you wouldn't summon him, so this is very interesting. I think it
returns
similar.
summoned monsters from the extra deck. So he'll be able to put Toad back into the extra deck and circumvent the search that it would get when it hits the grave.
Yeah, is it up to 2? I thought
it's up to 2 targets, both. So he will be able to use it just on a single target, but you can use it to blow out an even bigger field if there's more things to be targeting.
Yeah, that's super interesting that he is doing it that way, and then he gets that back. That's super cool.
I kind of feel for Eugen, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he very often he doesn't look very happy when he's in the feature match, but right now he looks even like a bit more miserable than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, you can target 2 face-up monsters that was special summon from the extra deck and shuffle them into the deck.
So that's Canada.
Yep. So now at this point, Eugen is thinking, right, you only have 3 cards in hand. I need to play 3 things to get rid of your hand as it stands now.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that this is in response to the summon of Bryanak. I don't know if the effect of Cyber Angel Benton is once per turn, but it was sent to the grave again for this second ritual summon. Yes, he's searching the deck here, so
it's
it did
not. I don't think it is once per turn. It's as many as you can fit.
And so the on-summon Canadia may have been partly to try and get that flip down before the search to hand resolves, in case there aren't any more fairies to be discarded other than the Christia that he knows about.
Exactly, yeah. Clever from Eugen. But there was a fairy, and cleverly Jörg decided that's fine. I completely agree with him, to be honest.
Yeah.
He gets to keep.
It's going to be time for Torrential Tribute now.
It may well be time for it, but it will see a negation.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get negated.
Yeah.
I don't think that Eugen actually gets to play any more cards this turn. Everything else is going to get negated.
Yeah, that poor man.
He does.
He just takes it.
Well, he can allow the Shine Balls to be summoned to the field, costing some life points, using up some resources, potentially even ruining the number of fairies in the graveyard for the summon of Christia that he knows about.
So many things at play here.
Yeah, this is a really important factor.
I don't think this is easy to play this deck.
No, absolutely not. He's already got past this first hurdle of being able to establish the Herald of Perfection. It's on the field. It's there, and he has some fairies. And the next key bit is for him to be able to get Christia on the field. If he's able to do that successfully and still have a few fairies left in hand, then it's
perfect lock time.
Yeah, because Eugen's a lot of Eugen's strategy is going to be taken away from him. He's not going to be able to special summon because of Christia.
Right. Okay. So time for some link summons.
Yeah. As you can see, Jörg is actually keeping the final Shine Ball in his hand for the discarding for Herald of Perfection. He may summon it at some point, not 100% sure. We'll see what he decides to do here.
So I believe
a decision to be made.
This effect is putting 4 fairies into the grave, so I'd expect to see a trap flipped up by Eugen here, simply to force out another fairy from the hand to prevent Christia from hitting the board immediately.
Yeah, this is assuming that Eugen is kind of tuned into this. If it was me and I was seeing this in this kind of format, I would just be like, what is going on? I have no idea what's occurring.
It's very easy to lose your focus in such a situation.
He does actually have the Sanctuary as well that he's going to be able to use. So he returns a number of spells to his deck and then is allowed to summon a monster of the same level.
From the graveyard, yes.
From the graveyard, yeah. So he's going to be able to... even if the fairies were going to get modulated by Eugen here, that was a potential for Jörg to be able to fix that, but he's using that preemptively, in a way. Preemptively, he doesn't know that this is happening. This is super interesting. Jörg has clearly thought about this quite a lot.
This is not the first time he's been doing this.
Yeah. So there's the final Shine Ball. I think Jörg now feels a bit too safe for my liking. He's starting to think, oh, well, Eugen has not played anything now, so I think I might be able to start committing stuff.
But especially against Paleozoic, it's very often they have a couple of face down cards that are like, they do something, but they're not like super effective.
Yeah, we see a new card actually.
How many Shine Balls were used for the summon of that Saryuya?
I think 2, together with Venus and the Link Spider.
Because it has to be monsters with different names?
Yeah, it was Proxy Dragon, Link Spider, Venus, and Shine Ball.
Okay. Only one Shine Ball, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's...
Also we have Kiwi in the feature match area as a judge. So I expect him to catch a lot.
Yeah, plenty of eyes.
I would be kind of surprised if Kiwi doesn't catch something.
Yeah. But this is a really great new card from Extreme Force. If you see it, it's 4 effects. So depending on the amount of different names you use for its summon, it gets different effects. We can show it on the screen. That's when I can find it.
It's here.
There we go.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's going to appear in a few seconds.
Oh, okay. So we just need to wait a little bit longer. Okay, it's loading.
It's loading.
Stay tuned. Or it doesn't want to.
I'm hoping it's loading.
Okay, maybe it's too new. Well, anyway, it says if you're using 2 or more If a monster is normal or special summoned to a zone this card points to, and it gains 300 attack and def. So
Yeah.
that's okay. It's fair.
Okay. It gets much better.
3 or more. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 monster from your hand. Yeah.
That's Christia, by the way.
That's yeah.
So even if he doesn't have the correct number of fairies, he can do that now.
And then 4, when this card is link summoned, you can draw 4 cards and then place 3 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 cards.
Talk about some deck manipulation. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Okay, here's Christia.
Yeah, so here's Christia. I don't know if he's done it correctly with the 4 fairies, but he can also summon it with Skull Dread. So, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, talk about assembling an army.
Yeah. And that's going to put Christia up to 3,100? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's the extra 300.
Yeah.
So this is not looking like good times for Eugen here.
It doesn't look
He
excellent.
does have the needle ceiling, right?
Yes, he has Needle Ceiling and he has Torrential Tribute. I believe he's aware that both of the cards remaining in Jörg's hand are fairies.
Okay, speaking of needle ceiling, here we go.
Is this on the summon of Christia? It would be clever if it was, because Torrential Tribute.
Here we go. Yeah, it was.
Is this last card a fairy? We know it is.
Oof.
This is where Eugen thinks, oh dear.
Was it the correct order for Eugen to wait until that moment?
I don't think that would have been the correct time to play those traps. As far as I'm aware, Eugen knew that both cards remaining in hand should have been fairies at that point. So he should, in my opinion, have waited until his own turn, activate the Pot of Desires to try and force out one of the negation effects, and then summon one of the Ronin Totems from his own graveyard, and in response to that summon, he could flip up his Torrential Tribute and then the Needle Ceiling to wipe the whole board clean, save for the face down.
Interesting.
Or even possibly put his chain the other way around to try and get Torrential to be the one that would resolve, and then even the Necro's Bryonak would be dead too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he could have waited a little longer.
He really needs to draw something with that Pot of Desires now. But first, of course, it's going to be lots and lots of damage coming in.
Yeah, assuming it doesn't get negated. I don't know if Jörg has any more cards in his hand.
No, he does not.
That's on table. Okay.
He's good. He's dropped everything.
Yeah.
I forget, of course, that he wouldn't have been able to summon a Ronin Totem from grave with the Christia on the field.
All right.
But he would have been able to use the Swap Frog that was returned to his hand by Totally Awesome.
Yeah. So there was a way to... But then again, if you're confident with the deck and everything, if you're Jörg, you would just let that Pot of Desires go through, or wouldn't you? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to say. There are certainly situations where a Pot of Desires getting 2 new cards for someone already low on resources can be absolutely brutal.
All right, so what did Eugen draw into? He's got cards in hand, a Swap Frog, a Rivalry of the Warlords, Paleozoic, Dynamicious, and Solemn Strike. Yeah, you guys cannot see that, but like I just read them for you guys. Swap Frog, Rivalry, Paleozoic, Dynamicious, and Solemn Strike are the cards in hand for Eugen Heidt, and he's got nothing on the field, obviously.
Could have done with a few of those last turn. Yeah, 5 back rows would have been much scarier for Jörg Müller to play into.
Right.
Where does Eugen go here, Tom?
Well, the Rivalry doesn't stand to do very much. It can take out the Saryuya and if the Necros, if it's flipped face up before the activation. But I don't see that causing any real problems because at that point you're still staring down a Herald of Perfection and a Christia.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's set all 3 traps, but I would have considered holding the continuous trap there for a discard for the Dynamiscus.
All right, so Jörg found a terraforming.
Certainly feels like the writing is really on the wall for Eugen in this game 1.
Yeah, but then again, how fearless are you going to be if you're Jörg in this situation? Do you expect something like a Mirror Force, or Or
I think Herald of Perfection.
you're
is
just
enough,
feeling
yeah.
so secure.
Yeah,
How many cards? He's got a Cyber Angel Benton in hand, and that is it.
yeah. His
So
rivalry.
one negation.
Yeah, so rivalry likely just going to take out Skull Dread. Yeah, that would be silly not to get rid of that.
All right. So, and by the way, we have the correct cards again for you guys.
There we go.
And everything
good.
is working now.
Yeah.
Okay, better late than never.
Yeah.
So this card has just left the field. This is what we try to emphasize.
So see Dynamiscus.
Right.
It's interesting here that the discard for Dynamiscus is not a cost. So by forcing a negation, he doesn't have to discard. But nope, he follows through with the Solemn Strike, taking out both of the monsters that are causing problems for him here.
Yep.
Quite nice. That's a comeback of sorts. Pretty good one.
Christie's going to get banished, which is even better than her going to the graveyard. And now he just has a Bryanak.
This is a war of attrition if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Both of these guys suddenly super low on resources here.
How many copies of Ronin Toden do we see in Eugen's graveyard?
Graveyard.
Let's see. We have one. We only have one confirmed here.
Yeah.
So, and I think I've only seen one, right?
Yeah. The other one we may have. He's only playing 2, and the other one may have been banished from Pop Desires. But we don't know exactly what was banished from Pop Desires. But yeah.
So Eugen, Jörg was considering whether to flip Bryanak or not, and he went with no, face down is fine, because he doesn't want to be under that rivalry spell.
Yep.
He wants to be free to summon whatever he wants to summon.
Yeah, which is kind of strange because Jörg told me this morning, he doesn't really have any other normal summons. So, yeah.
Paleozoic Olanoides is a fantastic draw for Eugen here. He'll be able to respond to the effect of Ritual Sanctuary. I believe it's the one that destroys spell and trap cards, so if the Sanctuary effect is used discarding a spell card, he can respond with Olanoides, take out the Sanctuary on the field, and will be able to special summon a Paleozoic from his own graveyard.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
that is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody said this morning, sounds like you got pretty good attendance. Like, that is an understatement, my friend. We're not looking at pretty good attendance. We're looking at amazing attendance this weekend.
But unlike the attendance, Olanoides, whilst good, isn't necessarily going to be perfect here, because he will still be able to flip up that Bryanak and take out one of the 2 monsters that Eugen will be left with. Still just keeping him off having 2 materials out at the same time to make that Toad.
Right.
Yeah, that's the key.
So we'll see Bryanak flip summoned, take out the Paleozoic, banish it in the process, and still just 1 monster away of getting back onto the Toad train.
Yep.
The Toad train.
The attack of Toad is still not enough to get over the Bryanak, though, is it?
It's not enough. Whoa!
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this is why we like this game.
This is going to be the first time that we actually see one of our recently limited cards. When I say limited, from being forbidden, which is Solemn Judgment.
This is a really nice top deck.
Yes.
This Eugen Heidt guy.
That's
he's got
possibly
something.
the best top deck that he could have got in his entire deck.
Yeah.
So you know when you said nice and you were talking about understatements?
Man.
Still, you can't Solemn Judgment just a regular attack, strangely enough.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, he can't actually play any of those trap cards right now because Olanoides, I think, only destroys your opponent's spells.
No,
and traps.
I think you can
destroy your own. Oh, okay, maybe.
And it may well be the correct play to do so here.
Yeah, if you can, I need to double check.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You can.
So
Then
do your own. Yeah.
Then absolutely, that may be an option here.
What are the options in the extra deck for Eugen if he does get 2 materials out? Because as we say, Toad doesn't have enough attack to beat over Bryanak, and it will only be a good choice if he has another Dupe Frog left in deck after banishing so many cards.
He's got Sky Cavalry. That's going to be able to get. That's going to get through Bryanak.
Not ideal, as it does leave the Bryanak in the hand.
Yeah, true. He has Cat Shark, Daigusto Phoenix. I think that's it. Yeah, he's got Cat Shark, Daigusto Phoenix, and Centuria. Those are the only options.
That's a lot of not actually solving problem.
Yeah.
Well, does he
kind
have
of
Olanoides? No, sorry, the
Sorry,
the
Illinois is on the field,
Paleozoic.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He's got Opabina.
Opabina.
Yeah, he's playing
Opabina.
both. Yeah, I missed that. He's
So-
got Anomalocaris and Opabina.
So he would potentially have options on summoning Opabina, searching for a Canadia, flipping the Bryanak down, getting back another Paleozoic from the grave, and making a Mr. Boy.
yeah, this is certainly a long-term plan.
Yeah.
Well, long-term as far as Yu-Gi-Oh turns are concerned, anyway.
Yeah, here we go. He's taking out his own
He's
card.
destroying his own stuff, which it's definitely the correct play here.
Rivalry's
see.
doing nothing for him at this
No,
point.
no,
There's only
absolutely not.
one monster on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it put in a little more work than we thought originally. We
Yeah,
were like,
certainly.
it's not doing much, and in the end,
Yeah, no, it helped.
Kind of helped.
It actually helped, yeah.
It was better than I gave it credit for, certainly.
Yeah.
Although that strike, I think the strike was the crucial play here.
Yeah, yeah. If he still had Skuldred though, then that would still at least be be pretty good. So it had its place definitely as far as Eugen's return to power in this game.
We don't see many cards left in Eugen's deck at this point, but he's searched for a
4
Paleozoic
cards.
Dynamiscus, which will be able to deal with the Bryanak on
Oh my
field.
god,
Yeah.
if we see a deck out,
That would be insane.
that would be the conclusion of such
Yeah.
an epic first match.
This Cards of Demise certainly.
Yeah, it comes with some drawbacks.
Yeah.
Just like those pots. That's why you only play 2.
Yeah.
Never 3.
He is playing 3.
It's a minus. What was it?
-9. It's a
Minus
minus
9.
9.
Yeah, exactly. That's logic for you guys. Here's something to chew on for the weekend.
Table 500 logic. Actually, table
Table
500 is
500 's
pretty good at this
pretty
event.
Yeah, I was about to think about that. I'm like, wait a second. It's not that bad.
We need to change the joke. The joke's going to have to change.
Yeah. It's just Bochum things.
Yeah. Yeah, them table 900 scruffs.
Right, yeah.
That's not even the last table.
The swamp has actually moved upstairs this weekend. This is the most confusing thing. So normally when you lose, you're just expecting to get paired against like the most outlandish decks that you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And this weekend, if you're not doing so well, you're actually moving upstairs. That's super confusing.
Or outside, according to Ollie.
Well, outside of that,
put your jacket on.
Yeah. My favorite comment I've heard so far was still when the guys from Tournament Center who are like organizing for us, when they talk to members of the venue who are all Germans, of course, and they asked, so how can we align the tables over here? And then the German guy wanted to say, okay, we have to put them on the side and the other one on the sides, and there needs to be like something in the middle.
Space in the middle.
Space in the middle so people can just walk through.
A walkway.
And
yeah.
he's struggling for the correct word, and he just says, we need a gang in the middle. And gang is the German word for like this walkway.
Yeah.
And he just pronounced it English to think that the guy, that Ellen will understand what he says. So we need a gang in the middle, and then I just imagined a couple of people with knives and everything in the middle, and they're like, this is going to help. This is for fire safety reasons.
So
he quickly corrected himself, by the way.
Yeah.
He said we need a freeway in the middle.
Freeway.
So cars can go through.
So, yeah, do you think Eugen's going to be able to make game here?
Certainly come very close, even if he doesn't kill.
He needs to. Let's just say he needs to. Otherwise, if...
Yeah, I think Jörg can recover quite quickly.
yeah, he needs to just
With the
stall
right
for like
cards.
2 more turns or something, and,
Yeah.
and that's going to be deck out.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like an all or nothing situation. Eugen has been in these situations before.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So that's the positive thing
Cool
from
as a
his
cucumber.
perspective. Okay, he does have the field, does
Yeah.
have the upper hand.
I mean, so there's no more frogs in the graveyard, and there's no more Paleozoics in deck.
That looks like game.
Yeah, it does.
Jörg is
Ah.
crunching the numbers, and then it's time to shuffle up.
The unbiased casting is real. I really wanted Cyber Angels to win.
I felt like I gave both guys credit. So we have only 13 more minutes on the clock, actually. That was a pretty epic game 1 of sorts.
Yeah. There's actually a new addition to the live stream that we have a clock on the live stream now.
So now it's going to be side decking time. What do you think is going to come in here? Let's maybe start with Thomas. He's looking at Jörg's deck list.
So we see on Jörg's deck list, Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, typically a really strong choice against the Frog deck, but I'm not sure whether he will have taken the time to actually include Totally Awesome in his extra deck. I can't quite read all of the handwriting, but I don't think I see it. We see...
It's an ABC Dragon Buster, Psy-Frame, Omega, Herald of the Arclight, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Dante, Something Utopia, number 39, Utopia Beyond, Beatrice.
Yeah, I doubt he would include it in his extra deck here.
So he has the perfect counter for the frog deck, but not the extra deck monster to go with it.
Yeah, the German name is Krötelig umwerfend.
Okay.
Now I remember.
There's actually his extra deck space is going to be really tight because he has to play a lot for the Kaleidoscope that he's playing.
Yes. The Cosmic Cyclones, excellent for this matchup.
Yeah.
You can take out and banish one of those Paleozoic traps, and it's a way to deal with any floodgates as well that you might come up against.
Yeah. On Eugen's side here, he's got Ghost, Ogre, and Snow-Rabbits. They're pretty reasonable against Herald of Perfection. Gamma Seal, again, really good against Herald of Perfection.
Absolutely excellent, until you're staring down Christia.
Yeah, that's the key part. So the next card might help with this. Well, actually, no, it won't at all. The Winged Dragon of Wrath Sphere mode. Again, if you're staring down Christia.
No problem at all. It's a normal summon.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Tribute 3 monsters from either side of the field to normal summon it to that player's side of the field.
That's like the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah, I got Kaiju's on the brain. 3 evenly matched. That could help.
Right.
And Mind Crush. That's actually going to help as well.
Yeah, interesting. Both of these guys playing only 5 different cards in their side deck and maxing out on each and every one of them.
Yeah. Me and my friends always disagreed about this, about whether you should play like 5 of a card and play 3 of them,
but
or play a bunch of different options.
Isn't this like a case-by-case basis? Doesn't it so much depend on your deck?
Yeah, I think it does. But I think it was one of those, our mantras were always slightly different. You know, oh, we got to play 5 cards in the side deck, or we got to play 10 different cards with 1s and 2s and things like that.
Right.
But I think you know, Ollie, you would be better than both of us. We are like 2 warring factions. You're like, can we not all just take it on a case-by-case basis?
I'm somebody who's very big on compromise.
Sometimes we'll take 3 of a card. Sometimes we'll play 1 or 2.
Right.
Depends.
Yeah, I'm
you
good with that.
You would build a great side deck.
What's your take, Thomas?
Personally, for side decking, I will generally include the maximum allowable number of copies of the card, unless it is searchable. So if it is a card that I have the ability to search with the engine I'm already playing in my deck, then siding 1 copy is excellent. You have that tool available in your arsenal when you need it. But if it's something that you have to rely on drawing, the only reason you'd be siding it is if there's a matchup where you want to see it, and if you want to see it, you want to have the best chance of seeing it.
This is exactly my thinking. You have to play 3 of something.
Now.
Yeah, well, I'm in the camp of you got to play 3 of everything.
All right. So this time it's going to be Jörg going first. He had a good start last time. I mean, Eugen went first, but Jörg recovered very quickly. It seems like both of these guys have a bit more variety in their opening hands now.
Yeah, Jörg's opening hand doesn't look all that great, actually.
We can't say that until we see the result of this Upstart Goblin.
I'm just going to go on to say, yeah, the Upstart Goblin is going to make or break it, really. Is he playing Unicorn? Is he playing?
Yeah, he has his 1 Unicorn.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That would be a great draw.
He's certainly got a lot of things that he can draw to get himself into this game very strongly here. Yeah. Something like a Ritual Sanctuary or the Unicorn, as you say.
Yeah, prep would work. Well, that's exactly what he drew.
Here we go.
Yeah, preparation of rights.
And he didn't even shuffle his hand. He's like, "This is the card I drew."
Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
I want you to know about it.
Yeah.
It's like maximum mental warfare, basically.
Yeah.
It's like this is how it works.
FYI, this is the card I drew.
1 step below, just revealing it from the top of the deck straight into the graveyard.
Yeah. But that's too much, BM. I think subtly letting him know is even worse, in fact.
You can tell Eugen. Eugen is not happy again. This is Eugen's version of a poker face.
Yeah.
This is slight misery is his version of a poker face.
Yeah, and as Tom was mentioning, no hand traps for Eugen. The Paleozoic deck doesn't really play.
Oh man, just look into this, like kicking into the next gear, basically.
Yeah.
All of these cards that summon stuff from your deck, and even if it's just tokens, they're so much better now with Link monsters. It's just so weird. Like when Synchros were first released, and everybody was like, "Yeah, this is just like a fusion monster, but you don't need the fusion spell." Yeah, so that's a little bit better.
And then Xyz came along, and it's just like a Synchro, but you don't need the tuner.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like step by step. Things got easier to summon.
Yeah, 4 different monsters.
Straight for the Saryuya.
Yeah, and he's got the Herald of Perfection already set up there. Planted right in the middle of the field. I don't know if you noticed, but he's put it in the middle zone both times.
Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how good is this opening?
Oh, Tom, please, take us away.
Well, we don't yet know because he's about to have 4 new options added to his hand, and then he'll have to put 3 of them back. But it seems like he has everything that he needs going for him already, and this is just going to be icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Okay. So where we are right now, at a 7 maybe?
I'd say probably only a 5 at the moment.
Oh, okay.
We see in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, 1 negate on your field, that's nothing.
Okay, okay.
If your deck can't play through 1 negate, you aren't winning the event.
Right.
He needs to get more than that on his board before we can get into the territory of a really strong turn 1. But
Okay.
summoning a Saryuya is the right way to go about getting there.
He's on the right path.
He's well on track.
Yeah, on the gang.
Yes, on the gang. This is going to be the thing for the weekend.
Jörg and the gang. That's a new band. We're going to start it.
I mean, I just love it when somebody's pronouncing a word in a different language. Just imagining, like, this is going to solve all my problems.
Can we pull up the Cyber Agent Idatan, please?
Yeah.
That's not a card that I know.
Idaten's pretty good. I remember that much.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this being used in Duel Links, but I don't
Oh,
play
yeah.
much myself, so...
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. When it is ritual summoned, you can add 1 ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and if it's tributed, you can make all ritual monsters you control gain 1000 attack and def. So like a support card.
Yeah. So
Seems pretty cool.
Seeing the, I think that's Ultimate Machine Angel ritual. I don't know. I couldn't see what it was.
how
The added to
many
his hand.
fairies do we see here?
Yeah. Well, we have Saryuya anyway, so but it would be better if you could summon it properly.
Yeah, but he's going places. Like, at first we were like, he needs something, this is not great, and suddenly it's like combo.
So there we see, Saryuya with the...
With the Christia.
Yeah, the Christia summon, and he's got a Machine Angel ritual that could project that. I think that, I'm trying to remember exactly what that does. The machine, I'm pretty sure the graveyard effect, you can prevent a destruction of something. Is it a fairy or is it only a...
If a light monster you control
Light
would
monster,
be
there we
destroyed
go.
by battle or card effect while it is in your graveyard, you can banish
Yeah,
it instead.
I was trying to remember how general it was. I didn't remember if it was fairies or fairy ritual monsters. It's just a light monster. That's even better. So he can protect Christia. And
Lots
again,
and lots of
3100.
light.
So we see the Floodgate and Christia locking things down here, but the negation is really hollow because from our seat, we can see that there aren't any fairies in hand.
Yep.
Yeah, so Eugen might be super scared in this situation, and he doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Because like you just pointed out, there are not that many negations waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that Eugen should know that at least one of the cards in hand isn't a fairy because it was added back with the effect of the Cyber Angel, but I don't know if he has knowledge of the other card. And even if he should have knowledge, he may not have been able to keep track with the number of things happening.
Yeah.
So he's going to basically try and bait the first negation and see if
Yeah.
anything's happening.
Do you not think at this point he already knows that he doesn't have any fairies? Would you not negate the swap frog?
I don't know that I necessarily would. 1 monster on the field isn't particularly scary when you have a Christia up. You know that they aren't going to be able to special summon another thing to go alongside it. At this point, the only thing that he would want to negate with that Herald is anything that threatens the Floodgate from Christia.
But I mean, Jörg saw in the first match there are things like Torrential and Needle Sealing and all of those mass removals.
Compulse as well.
Which also we haven't seen in a while. Like, for a very, very long time, cards like Mirror Force or Torrential were considered too bad to be played, and suddenly they're
That's a good draw.
back in full swing.
That's a good draw. He drew prep. That's really nice.
So when do you pull the trigger when you're Eugen here?
I think ASAP.
So you go with a Reckless first, or?
No, I think Reckless Greed's going to be much later. I think, Needle Sealing followed by Compulse or something like this is going to be the right line of plays. Potentially Canada as well. But if he wants Needle Sealing to resolve, then...
It's tough to know when to go, but responding to the preparation of rights here may give him an opportunity to get in before a fairy gets added to hand.
Yeah, I think it's now. You got to go now because
now
he's about to add another fairy. Right now, he has 2 cards in hand. One is definitely not a
so
fairy.
he starts with the Compulse,
Yeah.
trying to bait the negation.
Yeah. You definitely know he has less fairies now than he would after the prep, so you should go now.
Right. So and then the question is Jörg mind? Like from Eugen's perspective, is he like, is he trying to bait this?
Yeah, I think this is really weird. Compulsing the Herald is actually super weird. I would want to Needle Sealing here, because now that he's compulsed the Herald, Jörg can just add Ben 10 to hand and then get the Herald ritual back from the graveyard. If he still has it in there, I'm not too sure if he still has it in there, but still, now he can resummon it using Ben 10 as well if he's got another one. It did actually add Idaten, which is kind of strange.
Huh.
I guess at this point he's just thinking, I'm going to have to do some beatdown work.
Did he only use a single effect of that Preparation of Rites? Was there another spell in the grave that he could have added?
Yeah, I think he could have added machine. I think what's probably happened is he's used the Herald's, the Herald Rituals effect already to add one of the materials back, so that's already banished. He's got one Machine Angel Ritual in the graveyard. He can't use it right now, so there's no point using it because he already got another one in hand, and he can keep it in the graveyard for its graveyard effect potentially.
Okay.
So.
Guys,
Yeah,
we're looking at just 1 more minute on the clock. Don't let go of that fact.
Yeah, this is perfect play here by Eugen, I think. And do you know what's super cool? He's only got 3 monsters, so Needle Sealing's not in effect right now.
Yeah, I think Jörg was actually quite clever there, so I understand that a lot of people might have taken the opportunity with the Preparation of Rites to add something back, but just because you have the ability to do something, it isn't always the correct decision to, and I think that's certainly the downfall of a lot of players is they will always want to use every effect of a card that they can.
Yeah. They feel they're generating an advantage, when in reality they're adding a duplicate copy of a card would be just useless to him. He's actually, he would be removing an option for himself, which is, you know, way worse than what he did, which is fantastic.
Well, very calm and collected plays. What do we expect from this player?
Yeah.
And here we see Canada.
Yeah, so Jörg here is going to start getting rather sad rather quickly. So the Christia gets flipped down.
The only piece of interaction that Jörg has at this point is the Cosmic Cyclone he has face down, but that's not going to do a great deal to any of the cards that we see from Eugen.
Well, he can interrupt a chain to stop the Canada being summoned, but that's literally it.
Well,
interesting to see whether he goes for that here.
And by the way, that is time in the round. So Eugen is going to finish this turn, and then we're going to go into extra turns.
Yeah, as I say, I would absolutely do this. Interrupt the Reckless Greed so that the Canada is not going to be summoned.
If he's targeted the Lost Wind, that one can be chained immediately, but if it's the Needle Sealing, he might have really hurt Eugen here.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is actually very important.
Eugen doesn't like his odds here.
This is so close. this second game is so close.
I'm not sure what Eugen would be checking at this point, because if it's the Lost Wind, he should absolutely be using it, and if it's the Needle Sealing, there's nothing he can do.
Then, yeah, he should cry. Yeah, so the Lost Wind.
It is the Lost Wind, so.
Yeah, so I still think Jörg made the correct play here.
Is he able to activate the effect of Canada twice in the same chain?
I'm not sure if there's anything that once per chain when a trap card is activated.
Oh no! Of course, he wasn't able to activate it the previous time. It's not that he missed the opportunity.
Yeah, the opponent did something, did the chain to it with the spell, and then then it was his turn.
It was never activated the first time. It was denied the first time.
Yeah, good point.
We don't have a word for that in Yu-Gi-Oh. You just.
Well, missing the timing.
Stop the missed the timing.
It's kind of like missing the timing.
It's
not exactly the same, but yeah. He was. I liked Thomas' way of putting it. He was denied the opportunity to activate it.
I got really freaked out for a second then because the Saryuya had the green dice on it. I was like, whoa, what's going on with that card? It's only round 1. I'm losing my mind.
It's got a special effect now.
Yeah, it's now a wind monster.
It's now a wind. Yeah, those dice are so versatile. You can even show if the attribute has changed.
That's really cool.
Activate DNA transplant, pull out your bag of dice.
They're all green. You got a bag of green dice.
What do you need them for, yeah.
Everything's wind now.
All right, so things are looking up for Eugen. Despite that a good start for Jörg, but he was just missing those negations. And even though Eugen never played the Needle Sealing so far, when we were like, oh, this is a good time, this is a good time, this is still a good time, oh, okay, no longer. Things are shaping up nicely for him.
Yeah, I still think that Jörg is not out of this.
So it can still go both ways, in your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely think so. Opabina can only get you so far. Don't get me wrong, get you pretty far, but
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's only going to finish half the marathon for you.
Eugen here doesn't care about however close he gets the deck out because he doesn't have draw phases for the rest of the game.
yeah.
Good point.
For the rest of the game, yeah, that's
For the rest of the round.
yeah, for the entirety of this round, he is not allowed to draw cards.
It would be fun if there was a card that says for the rest of this tournament, you're not allowed to do this and this.
How would you even keep track of that?
Yeah.
Did you play this card during your last round? Maybe.
Yeah, so you have to save it for the finals.
Yeah.
Just side it in.
Is he down to one card? I think he's down to one card.
No, there's definitely some kind of shadow going on there. Unless it's just a weird part of his sleeve.
It doesn't matter even if it
He's
is
not
only
going to
one.
see it. Yeah, he's not going to see it. He
Yeah.
could have 0 cards and it wouldn't actually make any difference. That would be cool.
He's
That would be very cool.
Such a skilled player, this Eugen Heidt.
Winning the duel whilst starting your turn with 0 cards in deck.
Yeah, that would be a really cool way of winning. Alas, there are some cards left.
I think the closest that we see to a card that prevents you from doing anything for the rest of the tournament would be something like Light of Seca, which you can not play other spells for the rest of this duel.
Yeah.
Coming out next set.
I remember seeing the card. I can't remember when it's coming out. This is always the difficulty. That there are plenty of cards that I have to try and forget whenever I do coverage.
Yeah.
I think it's a card that we see out in Japan already.
Okay. That's always that's the first thing I like to hear when someone asks me about a card.
Yeah, but sometimes they are just using that as a
exactly.
as
This
a
is
trick
the,
to
this
get
is
extra
the problem. This
to
is the problem.
extract information from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So previously, one of the spellbook cards did. This was before it was released. Did stop you from playing spells at all. You could only play spellbooks during the duel.
A few of those do tend to be spells, though.
Yeah. That's the closest I can think of that we've had in recent history of Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's the closest I can officially say what I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I always say to people, I've got only like 2 or 3 responses. I don't know, and I can't tell you, or a shrug, and they all mean I can't tell you.
Yeah, it's going to be Inception with Luke.
Yeah.
People are going to try and extract that information from you.
Yeah. The rug doesn't feel right.
Yeah, the rock doesn't feel. Okay.
I'm sat here now and I'm stroking the table. Does this table feel right?
Pull out your totem.
Yeah. What is it? I don't even know where it is.
It's the water.
Yeah,
If
the water
if there's
bottle.
something to drink still, then you're obviously in the Matrix.
Yeah. More than one reality franchise. So. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Back to Eugen, who has lost a couple of life points over the course of these plays.
yeah, Tom, tell us what's going on here with Eugen.
Well, he's got the Opabina up, and he's just being able to use it to turbo out those Paleozoics from his hand.
Yeah. What's he going for
Taking
here?
advantage here of the up arrow from the Saryuya to get into Anomalocaris.
Nice.
Nailed
Really
the name.
powerful effects on
Good
this
job.
guy.
Just take a moment there, people at home, to
Yeah,
understand.
appreciate that, yeah.
Tom nailed the name of Anomalocaris.
So it's got the ability to detach a material in either player's turn to destroy a card on the field. And also, if a trap card is sent from his field to the graveyard, he can excavate a card. If it's a trap card, it is added to his hand. And if it's not, it goes to the grave, which is pretty great because most of the time, the monsters in this deck, you're quite happy to send to the grave anyway.
Okay, we're looking at
I think 3 or 4 cards.
4 or 5, yeah, maybe something like that. Definitely not a lot.
Yeah. But not 0, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That would be.
It would be even
There's
funnier.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can empty a bit out with the Opabina, or no, not anymore now that it has no trap material, but he can continue to try and empty it out with Anomalocaris. Even if it runs out of materials, it can still trigger once per turn if a trap is sent from his field to the grave.
Yeah. Yeah, so Christier's getting destroyed here.
And here's the attack.
I'm trying to remember, doesn't Christier get put back on the top of the deck when she gets destroyed, or is it only when she's face up?
I think they just read that card again to double check. I think it was because it was destroyed while being face down.
Yeah, if this face up card.
Yeah.
The first version of Christia definitely didn't say that. I'm pretty sure the non-PSCT version didn't say that. Oh, he drew pre-prep. That's a pretty good draw.
My God. His second Reckless Greed.
So we see the Reckless Greed being insta-snap down here. It enables him to get another monster on the field, which potentially puts the Needle Ceiling back live.
Yeah, and he drew a second Ghost Ogre.
And
Those
it will
Ghost
allow
Ogres
him.
are awesome.
It'll allow him to use the effect of that Anomalocaris to try and find another trap. Whoa!
Now that
Wow,
is
Eugen.
that's pretty good.
That's a mastery.
He is very good at shuffling.
Yeah, that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop Jörg if he's able to plant a Herald of Perfection onto the field.
Does he have the material to negate this time? I think we have another updating problem because obviously Jörg is not having any cards in play. His hand currently is the Machine Angel Ritual, Necros Kaleidoscope, Herald of Perfection, Cyber Angel Darton, and he's starting his turn with a pre-prep.
It's so good. One card becomes two. It's always the best kind of card.
What does Pot of Greed do?
It's basically the same, but you get to play it in every deck.
I'd argue even that Pre-Prep of Rights is better than Pot of Greed in that sort of deck because you get to choose which cards you get, and you guarantee that they work together.
This is the kind of crazy logic that I try to get Matt on board with, but he would be saying no. This Pot of Greed's way better. But that's the kind of crazy logic I go with. I completely agree.
It's because Matt is a gambling man. He prefers to have 2 random cards.
Yeah, whereas I prefer to have 2 cards that are definitely going to make my opponent sad, whereas Matt prefers to try and draw some cards that might make his opponent sad.
He doesn't like control. He's like,
just because Pre-Prep might be a better card in this deck doesn't mean that we want Pot of Greed in the game.
No, Matt. He sat at home thinking, oh, okay, I'll bring back Pot of Greed.
Not so loud, they're listening.
Yeah.
All right. So where's Jörg going here? We have the Herald on the field. Step 1 complete.
Yeah, and in attack mode.
In attack mode, yeah. You don't see that every day.
Angry Herald.
Angry Herald, yeah. You know, in the anime, you always had like the attack and defense position of monsters. They always look different. I wonder what does Herald look like in attack mode.
Well, he's got tiny little punchy arms on his sides, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure we can bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
no, I think he does. Yeah, he's got tiny little arms, he's like a raptor.
He's trying to put them cross them in front of him.
Yeah, I think that would be it. He would cross his arms and his wings would kind of cover him if he was in defense mode.
But I think the hands wouldn't be long enough, so it would be really pitiful state that he's going to
like a fairy T-Rex.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm thinking, Herald of Perfection versus the dinosaur deck. I'd love to see a fight between Miscellaneousaurus and Herald of Perfection. That would be amazing.
They're going to do the rabbit punches, having their arms in front of them.
Yeah.
All right. So this is still not looking good for Jörg.
Yeah, I think.
So we see
it's hard to see because we can't see exactly what's going in his hand. I think
2 fairies in the hand.
Yeah, but what's the attack position? The attack position. What's the attack position of Anomalocaris?
It's 2,400 attack, I believe.
Yeah, so that's much bigger than a Herald of Perfection, especially in attack mode.
But it's also very relevantly unaffected by monster effects. So if he chooses to use that to try and get through this Herald of Perfection, you won't be able to negate that with the effect of the Herald.
Right, and we have the same problem we had earlier. Like, the cards that you see is not what's currently on the field. So what you see on the app is not the same thing that what we're actually seeing on the field right now. So what it says for Jörg Müller, for example, cards in play, this is not the current number of cards in play. He only has 3 cards in play, which is the Herald, Machine Angel Ritual, and Cyber Angel Darton. So what you see on the left side of the screen is not correct.
Yeah, actually, this is ultimate. I'm pretty sure this is the ultimate Machine Angel Ritual, which is slightly different. I can't remember the differences. I would have to look them up.
I think he's performed the summon by banishing the 3 shine balls from his grave.
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly it. The ultimate Machine Angel Ritual you can banish from the graveyard.
All right.
Does it have the same protection effect when it's in the grave?
I think it may.
So we saw the one Machine Angel Ritual going into the grave earlier that's, I think, is stuck around. Was that this game?
It was this game. Very, very early on. And And there's yet another one. These guys, they should just ignore the clock altogether. They're like, who cares about the clock?
Yeah, it's actually called Machine Angel Absolute Ritual. Apologies, it was called. I think it was called Ultimate Ritual in the OSG. No, it doesn't have the same protection effect, unfortunately.
So he has a single level of protection for his attack position Herald.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we were able to update everything again. So now you guys can see the correct number of cards.
Let me take a look at Idaten that's on the field. Is that going to be able to help with an Anomalocaris?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring it up for you guys. It says if you ritual summon it, you can ritual summon it with Machine Angel Ritual, of course. And if it's ritual summon, you can add one ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And if it's tributed, or you can make all ritual monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and death.
Did we see Idaten tributed whilst that Herald was on the field?
Yeah, I am wondering what this dice is on.
That would explain the attack position Herald.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see what was tributed for it, so it could have been the Idaten.
It's got a little bit of an arm extension to...
Yeah, you just have to imagine that he
those pickup sticks. You know the pickup sticks?
I like to imagine he went for a workout, and now he's got like massive biceps on these tiny little arms.
Speaking of Rocky montage, here's the Herald of Perfection.
Yeah, walking up the stairs.
Yeah, imagine, you know, the like Eye of the Tiger, but played with a harp. That would be what the Herald of Perfection soundtrack sounds like.
Eugen has now pulled the trigger on the needle ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's about, do you want to negate or not? And obviously, Jörg is like, yeah, I'm feeling lucky today.
Yeah, I think if there's another destruction to come, then the Machine Angel Ritual will finally get used from the graveyard.
Eugen, does he have a face-down Solemn Strike? Is that correct?
I think it is. Yeah, I saw him draw it earlier.
So we're basically in the same situation that we were in the first game, where Eugen seems to be in a tough spot, activates an effect that would destroy many, many cards on the field. His opponent has the answer, and then Eugen is just, yeah, I got a Solemn Strike for this.
Does he not have the Ghost Ogre in hand as well?
Yeah.
He doesn't mind if that Needle Ceiling doesn't resolve. In many ways, he doesn't want the Needle Ceiling to resolve. He just needed to use it to force the activation on the Herald.
Yeah, that's even better than the strike.
This guy is a mind reader. I'm telling you. Look, Eugen actually woke up. If you see, if you look at the picture, he's like wide awake all of a sudden. Jörg is not very looking very happy.
Here to play frogs and chew bubblegum.
Yeah.
He's all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
He's all out of frogs. Oh, wait. That would be bad. That poor Idaten has been left.
Yeah, it's putting in the work here.
So you see the draw phase missed.
I love how Eugen is actually counting down the number of turns on Reckless Greed, like it matters.
Well, I think it's more than anything else. He doesn't want to draw a card and get like a game loss or something.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we going to go from here?
Well, with just 2 ritual spells in hand for Jörg, he's relying on something very good to try and even get himself back into this game. We still see a material left on the Anomalocaris.
Yeah, and Kiwi was busy writing those signs for us. Thank you very much. That's easy to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the second turn in the extra time. It's currently Eugen's turn. This is his last turn, right?
No, there are 5 additional turns.
5 additional turns. Yeah, I keep mixing that up every time. So he's got a few more options. Not a few more cards because of those Reckless Greeds.
You see, using up that last material on the Anomalocaris just to try and open the board and push through some damage here. We'll see 19 from the Mistar Boy and 24 from the Anomalocaris. Unfortunately, not getting the buff because it's unaffected by monster effects.
Right. It's almost enough also.
Yeah, I don't think Jörg has any kind of comeback here. Unless there's some crazy miracle that he can summon Trishula.
And
that's
that
even
will
if
be
he
game.
plays Trishula. Yeah.
A Ronin token for game.
Coming out with 600 attack.
That is it. Wow, what a thriller. This went back and forth. Quite the match indeed, guys. Let's talk about it in our post-match analysis. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the live broadcast from the largest European Yu-Gi-Oh! Event of all time. It's YCS Bochum 2018, and we have 1,951 players. All weekend long, we're going to present to you guys feature matches with everything, and we just got the ball rolling in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
Luke came across Jörg Müller at the start of the day, who said, I'm going to play something interesting. He's playing Cyber Angels with the Herald. And it just so happened that his opponent on table 870, was Eugen Heidt. So we said, we can't have you guys go upstairs. You can play in the feature match area. And we've just seen an amazing game between these two guys. Two amazing games, in fact.
Yeah, that was really cool that we saw two complete rogue decks play out there. Because both of them were just a bit like, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah. Yeah, and like during various situations throughout the game, we were like, okay, this is not what we saw coming, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell that they were both just having to really think on their feet to be able to make their plays.
Yeah.
Really, really have to think it out.
But both of them, like, was there anything where you said, Thomas, okay, I would have played this differently? This was definitely a misplay, in my opinion.
I perhaps would have played it differently, but that's not to say that they were misplaying.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know the decks as well as these people do. I was impressed by the real show of strength from the Paleozoic deck, because we saw in both games Saryuya, Herald of Perfection, and Christia.
Yep.
And each time, just having the trap cards and playing things in the right order was able to break through what is quite a formidable board.
Yeah. In the first game, it was the Solemn Strike that made all the difference.
Yeah.
There was a mass removal. I don't remember. Was it Torrential Tribute?
Yeah, Torrential or Needle Sealing or something. No, those both got negated. But
yeah, something
the Solemn
like
Strike
that.
got rid of the Herald. Oh, it was Dynamistress as well that he was able to use on the
so much stuff
on the Archlord Christia. So he Dynamistress the Archlord Christia. Jorg only had one negate left. He played the negate and then it got striked. So both of them got cleared away.
So
and then they just had a face down Bryanak.
It was really, really tight. Like, both of these guys were also out of resources at several times during these games where you thought, like, okay, nothing's going to happen now. In fact, the second game was actually Jörg going first, and we were like, okay, he's got a pretty bad opening hand, and just one upstart goblin makes all the difference.
Yeah, that upstart goblin. Wow.
Pre-preparation of rides, and then it just goes into...
If there's a card you want to draw in a ritual deck, it's preparation of rites.
Whereas on the other side, if there's a card that you want to draw in a frog deck, it's Card of Demise. And we saw both of those.
We saw both of those, yeah. Good point, good point.
Yeah. That was fantastic. I think that Jorg's deck didn't actually show as well as it could because he was against this Paleozoic deck. I think that Eugen just has so many options and lots of different small impacting cards with Paleozoics. There wasn't, you won't see that with the other more meta decks, I think, this format. I think he would have been better placed, but same could be said about Eugen. I think that the Paleozoic deck probably didn't show the best it could that it would have shown against a more meta deck.
Right.
Which is why it was such a cool match, because they were both just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, we definitely had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time. I think we're going to try and bring Eugen in for a quick interview.
Yeah, so...
We cannot actually promise it because we are a little bit behind the main event schedule, and we need to first check how many tables are still playing. It's
absolutely
massive
pretty
tournament.
Much every round we're going to be saying the same thing, that we will try get an interview, but we need to check how many tables are left.
Right, guys. So with that, we're signing off for just a few minutes, hopefully, and have an interview with Eugen Heidt.